Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to talk about Wong, and I do have to say I've had a little bit less time recently than normal to really go over this new champion on the CCP server. However, what little testing I've done, I've been really into this guy. I think he's really fun. He's got some insane power gain, he's got some really good energy damage, decent sustainability. It's a little chaotic. There's a lot to keep track of. It is very easy to get in your own way and make lots of mistakes when you play him. But if you really get more comfortable with him, I think he's going to be a really cool addition to the game, and someone that I'm very excited is going to be in the same featured crystal as champions like Scorpion, Black Cat, Omega Sentinel. It's just going to be such a stacked featured crystal. I'm already looking forward to that one, and I've really enjoyed this morning kind of going through with Wong. So we're just going to do the quick hits of his abilities. Notice with his SIG, he has a pre-fight menu that's similar to Sorcerer Supreme. You can choose which of the three modes you start in. It's not as important with him because in general you want to just be building any kind of spells, and usually you want the orange kind at the beginning anyway because it builds your energy faster. Additionally, it will make like an enhanced version of whichever one you pick. So that's just something good to know, whichever you start in. So the default is to start in the orange mode, and we'll go over that eventually. Additionally, he's got this kind of niche ability. It nullifies indestructible and immortality buff. So yeah, if you're going up against Hercules, automatically stops immortality phase. I mean, most mystics can just nullify it anyway, so it's not the most powerful ability. I do think that just having him at low SIG can really make a big difference, so that's just good to know. So like most Doctor Strange sorcerer type characters, he has three modes, but they're slightly different colors. Just know that similar to Clairvoyant, you can swap these modes by doing a 4 light attack combo. Then when we get to these actual blessings or whatever, or actually they're not really blessings, they're spells, I guess you would call them. Basically, the orange one increases physical resistance, which can come in handy because there's times you're charging your heavy with Unstoppable and you may be taking some damage from that, so physical resistance is always nice. And additionally, this one is going to basically give you more of your energy currency as you exchange hits. So, when you hit them, you get more of the energy. The energy is really important for keeping stuff up. The green is a regen. It's not a very potent regen unless if you're fully built up, which does take a little bit of time because it only does 2% of energy damage dealt. And in order to deal energy damage, you need to also get some of the blue ones up. So obviously, if you have a lot of green and a lot of blue, your special 2s are doing a ton of damage. You will actually see a solid amount of regen. And then blue is the damage mode. It's just red damage. It's energy damage, so it bypasses physical resistance and things like that. And if they put a wither debuff on you with at least one spell active, it will consume up to one of each type of spell. So similar to America Chavez, this is something that can hinder you if you have a Spider-Man 2099 or other wither champ. Now, one interesting thing to note is he doesn't have the best buff control. There is a fate seal off of the special 3, but the blue mode is sort of his version of buff control, because whenever the opponent gains a buff, Wong will go unstoppable for 2 seconds and gain 4 energy. So you'll see in matches with lots of buffs, whenever you get those buffs, you get the free unstoppables, but more importantly, that energy is very important for your heavy charge, which gives you power gain. And as they're getting lots of buffs, this is going to be supercharging your energy, which means you're just going to be able to spam special 2s easier. So I do like this, kind of similar to America Chavez, who doesn't really punish buffs with nullification. She has other ways of gaining abilities off of the champion's buffs. It's kind of like that. You supercharge your energy. That's just nice to see. He's not just like a nullify or stagger machine. Now here's that energy currency that we were talking about. The main thing that you're going to use it for is charging your heavy attack to get this insane power gain passive. You're going to see your bar just shoot up. And the cool thing about it is when you release it into a special 2, it's unstoppable and unblockable, so you can do this from across the screen. Even if some of your hits whiff, it's fine because the last part of it will connect. And then yeah, let's go. This is interesting. I don't see a huge use for this, but it's just a cool ability that they added, the Sacrifice for the Sanctum. Essentially, if he's on your team and he dies, Then the next champion is going to start with a bar of power, like an advanced power boost, and a fury at the start of the fight. So it means like if you're going up against a boss, you probably want to throw him in there first, and then if he dies, your next champion will have a slight advantage, which is kind of cool. And this is what I love about this guy. Look how short these special attack things are. How normally we see these champions with just like mounds and mounds of text, but here we go. Special 1, it casts a spell associated with whatever mode you're in, and that's it. That's all you need to know. It just, if it's orange, it puts an orange spell on them. If it's blue, blue spell, and that's it. Now, anytime you throw a heavy attack or a special attack, it pauses the duration of the spells, but the danger is they're not very long. So that's where the special 2 comes into play. If you really, really want to build him up, you're going to have to throw multiple special 2s because those refresh them back to the start. So if you look at your spells, they're about to run out, try to race up to that special 2 and then it'll refresh all of them. That's good to know. Additionally, if he's unstoppable, like I said, if you charge from the heavy attack, it will be unblockable, which is very good for utility's sake. Otherwise, you're just like YOLOing this special 2. But if it goes unblockable, it means it's going to connect one way or another. And additionally, the more spells you have, the more energy damage you do, which means the more regen, which means the blue ones give more energy damage as red damage. It all works really well. The more spells, the better, the more attack on the special 2. Special 2 is your damage dealer. Special 3 has a fate seal that is as long as the amount of spells that you have. Again, I was finding not the best utility. Like if I want a fate seal, I'm going for Hood and his special 2. It's much easier to get to. It lasts longer. It has like 100% uptime, and he's got the staggers on the way up. However, it is nice to just kind of clear the deck of all your buffs if you need to. So with that, we're going to get into some gameplay, starting with Winter Soldier. Hope that you enjoyed this brief breakdown of his abilities. Let's see it in action. Alright, so this is a rank 3 SIG 20. And you can see because of the SIG, we get like a bonus duration passive of the orange blessing at the beginning. And I just wanted to kind of show at the very start of the fight, I'm just cycling with my light attacks just to show you what that looks like. So similar to Clairvoyant, you know, light attacks will change the mode. So I know I just kind of wasted 15 hits, but now we're going to start building some of our orange spells. Take a hit there, not that big of a deal. So these ones allow you to build energy more and they give you some physical resistance. And my goal here is just build spells, refresh them with a special 2. We can see the special 1, all it does is it puts a spell on them, which is quite nice. Now we have 100 energy. I want you to take a look here. If you have 100 and then you have no power, you can charge a heavy all the way up to your special 2, which I think is absolutely insane. So that's just good to know that you basically have 2 bars of power on your command. You can release your special 2 at any point. So we're going to throw on one more of these, and because of this orange or yellow mode, whatever you want to call it, we are basically, our energy is going up faster and faster, which means when we do that power gain, it's going to be coming up even faster. So yeah, decent enough damage, but we haven't even gotten into the red numbers yet. So we've got our 3 spells. This may not be the way that you play him, but I'm just kind of showing you the utility of all the different spells. So now we've moved on to the regen mode. We're going to throw on one of these. I just want to kind of make sure that these things don't fall off. When I throw a heavy, when I throw a special 2, it's going to, well, the heavies and the special 1s are going to pause them, but the special 2 is the thing that refreshes them, which is very, very important for his rotation, I think. If you're trying to build up as many as possible, you are going to have to get to that special 2 pretty often. So I'm looking, my yellow one's starting to fall off slightly, so I am going to, after I throw this one and stack another, I have my 100 of the energy, so I can stack that all the way up with my power gain. And you can see that we did a little bit of regen, but if you really want to see the regen work, we're going to have to switch to the blue mode, which is attack mode. So I've got 3 of the orange, I've got 2 of the green, and now I've got 1 of the blue. And again, I don't want these things to fall off, so if I know I have close to 100 energy, I can just sort of indefinitely charge this thing, get to my special 2, throw it off. It's okay that some of the hits whiff, because we know it's unblockable and that the end of it's going to connect. So now you can see I'm almost all the way back up to full because I'm healing a little bit off of this red damage. The more blues that we get, the higher the energy damage. The more greens that we get, the more the regen is. And now we're just basically able to cycle these things. So very, very good red numbers. We're seeing about 7,000. And then on our basic hits, like it feels a little bit like Hercules with the amount of red damage that is almost mimicking the amount of like physical damage that we're doing. It's almost like 200% attack, it feels like. So here we go, charge up. Some of it connects, not all of it connects. I'm sure there's a way to play him where you can be more economical and you can have more of your special 2 connect, kind of doing like special intercepts. But it's really cool to me that you can just kind of throw it in the air and it's going to connect. So that was 148 hits. Let's just say that it was closer to like 140 hits because I know I wasted some hits at the beginning just to kind of show off. What I want to do here is speed it up, and I'm starting in blue mode, and I'm not going to worry about switching modes. We're only going to place the spells that are the blue ones, which are the damage ones, and we're going to see how many fewer hits this makes. So in the first fight, you know, we wanted to have the regen up. Having more spells means more damage, but it takes more time to set up. And I think what you're going to find is that if it's kind of a generic matchup and you only want to be concerned about damage per hit, it actually might be a little bit faster to only worry about the blue spells. So you can see we charge all the way up to our special 2. We already have 3 of the blue, which means that we're going to be able to, you know, get some very big special 2s. All of our basic hits are basically doing double damage, and it's only taken us about 60 hits to get here. There we parried and we went straight in. We're just watching, you know, our energy. We just got to make sure that we're close to like over 50 per bar of power. There we got a lot of crits. That did a ton of damage. Really, really nice to see. It's just really fun to play, and like I mentioned in the very beginning, it is somewhat hectic at first. Like my very first pass on this guy, it didn't go well. I was getting smacked around a lot, but you can see here that all we're focusing on are those blue ones. It's plenty of damage. We've never had our spells fall off, only 3 spells, and in this one he goes down in 112 hits, which, you know, even though we were kind of messing around in that first one, you know, we definitely went faster that time. And now for the last part of the video, I'm going to show a few fights in Act 6 that have Resistor, because as I mentioned earlier, he does have a Fate Seal. We are going to see that, but I want to show you when we're in blue mode how much he's able to punish these buffs by having just like eternal energy. So we're starting off in orange mode. We're going to start stacking these spells. Just so many buffs from the resistor node and just from the kit of Black Bolt. And I like to kind of go to almost 2 bars of power before I start stacking these. It just makes you able to get more special ones off a little bit faster. So here we go. We have our second one up. And then the question is what happens next. We're going to throw a heavy. And that heavy just gave us a little bit more power so that we can get one more special one off. You can see we have plenty of energy to play with. We block there. Now I think we can get off a special 2, but actually before doing that I switched modes and put one of the regens on. And then now I'm looking, I do kind of want to refresh these things. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it in time, and I do barely make it in time. So that was a good use of my 100 energy to get to the special 2, and we refresh all of our spells, which is really nice. We're not even really getting into damage mode quite yet, but right there we are in blue mode now, so we're starting to stack our blue ones. I'm throwing some heavy attacks kind of liberally, but that's okay. Now here we go, we have 100 energy, so if I'm able to get off a big special 2, we should be able to do it straight from a heavy charge. I'm throwing more special 1s, just being kind of aggressive here, but you'll notice that I basically always have 100 energy because he's gaining so many buffs that is just supercharging my energy meter. So here we can basically just cycle our special 2s. I was kind of learning this as I was doing it, like realizing that he does punish buffs in a way that is very different than other champions. So yeah, that went very smoothly. Like, it wasn't Symbiote Supreme, it wasn't Long Shot and the way that they punish Resistor, but it was pretty interesting to me the way that worked. having a little bit of regen off of the energy damage is always nice. So let's see what we do differently here. We're starting off pretty much the same. We're just going to start building some of the orange spells. Those are nice to have. They just help your energy build a little bit faster, and they're pretty easy to maintain because of that. So once again, we get close to 2 bars of power. I really like that animation too. I will say one thing about the special one is that if you do accidentally throw it into their block, you end up right next to them. So when I was first learning him, I was noticing like I was kind of being a little reckless, and sometimes I would throw the special one at the wrong time, and then I would just end up and get smacked right next to them. So you do have to be pretty aware of what's going on. There we throw the special 2. It's just going to refresh everything. We get a little bit of the regen. It's not very noticeable because it's only 2% of the energy damage per, which isn't a lot. It kind of reminds me of Sorcerer Supreme, who is not, you know, insane regen unto itself. Right there, that was one of the things that I was talking about where you mess up the timing. Apparently my heavy charge released before, you know, that thing went. So just take a look here. We're in blue mode, and we're getting all these unstoppables because every time he gets a buff, we get an unstoppable. It gives us more of the energy. Now we've got our 3 blue, and now we're going to just go to town. So we should be able to finish him pretty easily just by getting to our special 2s. If I was a smarter player, I would have already done it. I'm not sure why I'm spending so much time. There we go. That time I wanted to throw a special 3 to show you the utility off of this thing. Because this is going to be putting a Fate Seal on him. So we're going to see with Mystic Dispersion, it's going to give me almost 3 bars of power again. And then we just finish him off. We've got plenty of our red damage to just know that that special 2 is going to kill him. And yeah, that's basically going to do it, guys. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about Wong. I will say he takes a little bit of practice. I'm not sure exactly what slice of the game he is going to be answering, but certainly that power gain is absolutely ridiculous. He might be a slightly annoying defender just because mystics in general are, and he was just a blast to play. So let me know what you think. This is just a very, very brief overview of what he can do and just taking a look at some of the damage in his rotation, and that's going to do it for today. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll catch you in the next one.